Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. South Trinidad to benefit from the 17th Skills Training Center as the Penal Technology Center is opened. Government working assiduously to resolve the Hindu Credit Union debacle and to appease depositors. And the Education Minister announces historic advancement of technology in the classroom with the nation's first smart classroom in Presentation College, Chaguanas. Thank you for joining us. The Penal Technology Center was officially opened on Tuesday, and Prime Minister the Honourable Kamla Bissessar was on hand for the occasion. The center is said to be the 17th of its kind to be opened and is situated on some 26,000 square feet and can accommodate 600 students.
The expansion of vocational training here in Trinidad and Tobago continues as government has opened the doors to the metal industries company MIC Penal Technology Center. Prime Minister Kamla Bissessar says government's expansion of education opportunities can only lead to a better quality of life. She was referring to the merging of COSTAT with MIC centers to provide nursing training.
And Rio Claro, that MIC center will be married together with a COSTAT center where we'll be offering training for nurses down in the south as well in Rio Claro. We opened the Nurses Academy in El Dorado. Already we are training nurses there because we have a severe shortage of nurses. But we will also extend that training down into Rio Claro. So on both sides of the country, we will have that training taking place together with other areas of training.
Tertiary Skills Training Minister Fazal Karam highlighted the facility as one directly addressing the needs of the people through education empowerment. He gave the vow to continue along this path in providing education opportunities to the youth of our nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, this 26 million spanking new facility is really an opportunity for us to move from poverty to prosperity, to free us from mental slavery, and to ensure that we become professionals where we can access better jobs, earn more money, help send our brothers and sisters and our siblings to education, and lead a better quality of life. I say today is a proud day for us in this part of the country, because not since 2008, when the former administration opened a technology center in Pleasantville, in the constituency of San Fernando East, have we had any new additional training facility added to the southern region. However, what had happened in 2010, in the month of March, and I want you to remember that month, the previous administration closed down a technical facility at NESC in Debe. However, under the leadership, the distinguished leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, we reopened the NESC Debe Technology Campus in January of 2012. We shall continue to open more.
Chairman of MIC, David Lee, explained that while this is the 17th technology center to be opened, the 26,000 square foot center can accommodate training for over 600 persons and will offer customized courses to the penal districts and environs.
The specific training needs of Penal and the surrounding areas have been clearly identified by our Research and Curriculum Development Department. This research was used to determine the programs which will be offered at this technology center. One of the goals of the MIC Institute of Technology is to ensure that our training is matched to the skills that are in high demand. This building will be the training hub for approximately 600 students and adults in full part-time programs and short customized courses. Prime Minister will be, based on some advice I got, ICT short course programs for your constituency will be offered.
Prime Minister Persad says the opening of this center speaks to the provision of tertiary education at every corner of Trinidad and Tobago. She adds that plans also include the opening of a new center in Palo Seco.
We have seen an expansion in the tertiary education sector in terms of participation. When we came into office, we were just about 46% participation in the tertiary education sector. Today, we are about 57%, and our target was for 60% participation by 2015. In other words, we would have achieved our target of the 60%, and we will overpass that target, over 60%.
The new Penal Technology Centre is located on Petrotrin's compound, Clark Road, Penal. Kamla, News 4.
Meanwhile, some 100 squatters from the Penal Debe district got their certificates of comfort as government distributed land certificates. The distribution was held in a joint ceremony during the opening of the Penal Technology Centre. Prime Minister Kamla Bissessar says this will provide security to families living on state lands.
Prime Minister Kamla Bissessar is promising to ensure that persons in need of visiting the Land Settlement Agency (LSA) will no longer have to trek to the capital city of Port of Spain to get their land deeds. This as she has mandated that more offices be opened across the country. Speaking at the distribution of certificates of comfort ceremony held at the new Penal Technology Centre, the PM says this will not only provide easier access to their deeds of lease, but a swifter time period in accessing funds for the construction of their homes.
When you get your deed of lease, this is money in the bank. You can go to a bank and use that deed of lease to borrow. If you want to send your children to school, you want to improve your home, whatever it is that you may need a loan for, it is collateral that you can use. It's a very important piece of paper. So, Minister, having delivered these certificates of comfort, your next job is to deliver the deeds of lease. Agreed? Minister? And there is no proper state lands office in the south of the country. So I'm now instructing Minister that he must establish an office in the south of Trinidad to deal with land matters for residents living in the south, that they do not have to journey into Port of Spain.
However, government is said to be going a step further in making persons living below the poverty line home owners by providing additional services in the construction of their home through advice offered under the LSA. Minister of Land and Marine Resources Jaram Simangal unveiled a list of services the ministry now offers with the aim of making home ownership easier and more accessible to this group of citizens.
Our village lot program under the Land for the Landless, which have been approved recently, will now allow persons who have applied, who wanted to apply for regularization or who have been living on state land prior to 1998, an opportunity to now apply for regularization under this program. Ladies and gentlemen, through the Land Settlement Agency, we have launched a very new and innovative program which is called a Small Micro Enterprises Program. Our officers will be visiting you, the certificates of comfort recipients, in your home and your district, and I urge you to take advantage of this program. We have also initiated a housing support center in the Land Settlement Agency. And in this housing support center, we have customized plans that are highly subsidized. We have persons, engineers, engineering technicians to give you technical advice and guidance and oversee the construction of your homes and the renovations of your home. For far too often, we hear the cry of the poor and vulnerable of this country that they are being exploited by contractors who take their money and leave their work abandoned.
He explained the meaning of this certificate of comfort to those present during the distribution ceremony.
To the certificate of comfort recipients here this afternoon, many of whom would have given up hope that the state have forgotten them, we have not. We are here to deliver on that promise made to you in 2000. For the first time in your life, you have been elevated from being a squatter to someone who can now be recognized by the state of having some right in land. Of course, we would not stop there. We would be moving very soon to improve the infrastructure in your communities and also to deliver to you deeds of lease that you can have security of tenure for the property in which you reside.
Since 2010, some 8,000 certificates of comfort have been distributed through the Housing Ministry and the Land Settlement Agency. Kamla, News 4.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. The government has given the commitment that it will settle the matter regarding the Hindu Credit Union to appease depositors who suffered due to its collapse. This assurance came from the Minister of Works and Infrastructure in Parliament on Wednesday.
Citizens can rest assured that the Hindu Credit Union debacle would be dealt with in an appropriate manner. On Wednesday, the debate on the Purchase of Certain Rights HCU Bill 2014 began in the lower house. This follows the Minister of Finance and the Economy's revelation during last week's post-cabinet news briefing that legislation would be taken to Parliament to ensure that depositors at the debunked HCU would be paid out by the end of this year. Speaking during the debate, Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Dr. the Honourable Surajratan Rambachan, explained why settling this issue was important to the government.
There were 3 planks upon which that motion was presented. And the first plank was that the government has a moral and constitutional duty to treat all its citizens equally and must therefore protect the depositors of HCU from financial loss as they did those of CL Financial. Secondly, the second plank was that the government has been negligent in its statutory duty to protect the depositors, shareholders of the HCU, and therefore it has a legal or quasi-legal duty to bail out the HCU as a moral duty. And the third plank was that having failed to perform its supervisory and investigative functions over the HCU in time or at all, the government created a legitimate expectation in the minds of the public that all was well with the HCU, and in so doing, they misled the depositors and shareholders to invest in the HCU, resulting in their eventual loss. Mr. Speaker, so I joined this debate, Mr. Speaker, to support the bill, to ensure that depositors of the HCU will be able to receive their investments, at least the principal balance.
The Honourable Minister said a full report detailing the findings and stating recommendations to address deficiencies was submitted to the Commissioner for Cooperative Development on March 20th, 2007.
Having gotten that report, which contained the following headings: fixed assets, loans, delinquency, subsidiaries. Having gotten that report, the Commissioner for Cooperative Development recommended to the Minister that as a matter of urgency, a special inquiry into the operations of the Hindu Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited be conducted in accordance with Section 4 of the Cooperative Societies Act, Chapter 8103. Mr. Speaker, if that advice had been taken and action taken as was necessary, with the alacrity that was necessary, would all that have happened happen, and would so many persons be put through the pain and suffering that they have been put through?
In 2011, government gave the assurance that all payments would be made to all the HCU depositors and shareholders. There were over 147,000 depositors belonging to the HCU at the time of its collapse, and the government has paid 19,000 such persons at a cost of $232 million thus far. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
The Ministry of Education has created history with the establishment of its very first smart classroom at Presentation College, Chaguanas. Speaking of government's continued thrust in modernizing the country's school system, Dr. the Honourable Tim Gopi Singh, Minister of Education, revealed that government was engaging in this new pilot project with 20 smart classrooms in different schools. This is being done through a partnership with Samsung and the Telecommunications Services of Trinidad and Tobago.
A smart classroom is a traditional lecture-style teaching space that has available technological equipment that can be used to aid and enhance instruction of a course. This style of teaching is now being explored by the Ministry of Education in keeping with government's trust in modernizing the country's school system. The first of such a classroom has been created by the Ministry of Education at Presentation College in Chaguanas, and government plans to develop 20 more such smart classrooms in more schools across the country. According to Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, 10 of these smart classrooms will be set up at specific primary schools and 10 at secondary schools, 2 of which would be in Tobago.
Ensuring that we continue to develop our students along the ICT spectrum We created history recently when we ensured that we launched the first smart classroom at Presentation College in Chaguanas.
Dr. Gopi Singh said following the pilot project, the ministry will consider its next step.
We are now engaging in a pilot project with 20 smart classrooms in different schools in Trinidad and Tobago, 10 primary schools and 10 secondary schools. And each school will have 2 classes over a 3-month period using the curriculum, part of the curriculum in mathematics and in English language to determine. We will analyze that at the end of 3 months and see where we're moving.
The minister said that this latest initiative is possible through a partnership between Samsung and Telecommunications Services of Trinidad and Tobago (TSTT) for the use of Samsung's smart tablets. Felicia Wilson, More News 4.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. The 2013-2014 Pro League season came to an end last Friday. With the final of the Pro Bowl DirecTV W Connection, they won their 5th title of the campaign by defeating Police FC. And following the match, we spoke to Connection's coach about the final and the season as a whole. Wayne Cunningham has more.
Police FC were in their first major final in 18 years, and they held their own for the first 45 minutes of the Pro Bowl final versus W Connection. But as the second half started, it all fell apart for Richard Hood's men. Stefano Rizal opening the scoring for the league champions 7 minutes into the second period. It was 2-0 2 minutes later as the Savanetta boys pressed on the gas. Joven Jones, the scorer. It was all over for Police by the 78th minute, when Rizal notched his second to make it 3-0 W Connection. There was some good news at the end of it all for the lawman though. Following his performance in this final, goalkeeper Adrian Fonset earned a call to the national team, currently preparing for the Argentina friendly. Jamil Perry of Police also captured the most goals title, scoring 5 for the tournament. The match MVP was W Connection's Stefano Rizal, the Suriname's double strike edging out the performance of Fonset. The top coach for the Pro Bowl was W Connection's Stuart Charles Fervier, and he was high in praise for his players.
I'm just happy that I could help the club achieve its objective and help the players experience success in the game, because I demand a lot from them on a daily basis. I try to impress upon them the importance of hard work, of sacrifice. So I'm always happy when they could get the rewards, and be successful.
He also expresses admiration for his opponents on the night.
Police started well, and I must give them credit, first of all, for being in the final, because I know it's never an easy season for them, because, they always call them on duty and stuff like that, during different parts of the year. And even today, you had the match, and I almost worried if the game would have played, but fortunately it did. So I just want to congratulate them and encourage them to keep working. I think it was one of the better seasons. And when I watched them tonight, I could see that they are working on developing a program, developing a team. And I could only encourage them to continue in that way.
Connection took 5 titles this season, but the coach insists the hard work will continue.
Right now, we are the number 1 team in the country, and I guess everyone will be highly motivated against us. But we are not just the number 1 this year. Even when we are not the number 1, we are the team everybody wants to beat. So we are used to it now, and that is why we take our preparation so seriously and we work hard every day, to achieve our goals and objectives on the playing field.
Direct TV W Connection 2014 Pro Bowl champions. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
And congratulations are in order for W Connection. News 4 continues right after this. The public lighting program under the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission continues to impact lives and communities across the country. Recently, the unit turned on the lights at a recreation ground in the Moruga Tableland constituency.
Residents of Kunjal Road North, Barrapo, can now celebrate the illumination of the Kunjal Recreation Ground. The initiative was one undertaken by the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission's public lighting program. On Tuesday, the residents of the area gathered to witness the historic event, which would now see the expansion of sporting, recreational, and fitness opportunities.
What we're doing here is trying to transform night into daylight. So it's just extending your hours and so on. And, we expect that certainly you'll take care of the facility. It's here for the residents. It's here for you for decades to come. And once you take care of it, very, very importantly, we'll be very happy. You will have it, for the years to come. It will require less maintenance and certainly it will be available.
The TNTEC General Manager assured that late-night events would be facilitated if the residents required the lights to be left on for longer hours. One of the groups from within the area, now in a position to benefit from this, is the Yorkshire Club.
I could say after months of hard work by TNTEC personnel, Councillor Rafi, Minister Baksh, the dividends are certainly paid off this afternoon. So I am sure that from today, too much who is given, much is expected. So the people of Kunjal, I am sure, they will take advantage of these lights. You can be assured that there is football, there is cricket. Very soon we will be organizing our T20 competition. And we expect that the ground will be fully utilized. We may have to be making requests for some late hours on weekend. Normally T20 finish about 10, 11. So we'll be making the necessary requests.
Member of Parliament for the area, the Honourable Clifton Dikoto, noted that his constituency is the largest in the country and has 17 recreation grounds which require attention.
We need community groups to work with us. And we would make your dreams a reality. In fact, we'll try to make your dreams a reality. We cannot operate on telepathic wave where you say, well, he should know we want that. And sometimes when you go and do something, well, we didn't want that, he didn't consult us. So what we need to know is that we have more community group meetings. Where we meet, it is not too late. We are going to deliver to you because I feel assured that with the popular rating now of the Honorable Prime Minister, this government is going to go back into office and bring joy to your hearts.
The Honourable Minister of Public Utilities also believes strongly in the collective thoughts of residents and believes that the lights would help residents to forge better and stronger relationships.
The thinking behind the lighting of recreation grounds is based on the premise that sustainable national development starts at the community level, and that once communities have access to the necessary infrastructure and facilities, they will come together and unite to chart their own course towards better, more productive lives. And you have heard from the various speakers the advantages that these lights will provide for your community here. Improving your own health, keeping the young people active and away from negative activities and so. This requires a lot of collaboration and teamwork, but I know that you, the residents of Kunjal Road, are capable of both.
The illumination of the recreation ground came at a cost of over $1.1 million and has been one of the most expensive projects due to the size of the grounds. The cost was fully absorbed by the Ministry of Public Utilities. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. Now remember, you can view a repeat of our newscast weekdays at 6 a.m. and feel free to visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/RTV4. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.